Good evening. Hello there, welcome to Stampin' by Hannah here on Facebook or on YouTube if you are catching the replay. I am just going to adjust the camera a little bit, just get us in, well, somewhat central, and check that I'm actually live and in the right place, because the thought of going live on my main profile is terrifying. So if you are watching live, do let me know where you're watching from. And if you're watching the replay, if you could let me know that you're watching, that would be amazing. So I'm sort of giving a bit of a sneak peek actually of what we're doing today. So I have been playing with the fabulous Fond of Autumn stamp set. Hello Janice, lovely to see you. Second time in an evening. I have just been watching Janice over on YouTube share some of the fabulous swaps that we received at our team event last weekend. Thank you, Janice, for keeping me well entertained while I was trying to set up for this Facebook Live. So, yes, Fond of Autumn. I love this. This stamp set is it's been in my craft room a little while, and then I'm completely inspired by one of the inspiration stations that we had last weekend. And I am desperately trying to remember who created it. We had one from Sally, of Sally Stampers, and one of another. And I feel really bad because I've forgotten who it was. But they completely inspired me to get this stamp set out anyway, because I hadn't really played with it. I'd made one card, and I wasn't all that impressed with it either. So I thought, I'll have another go. So this is the card that I made last night, which is, I'm really pleased with, actually. But I thought that I would... hello, Louise, lovely to see you. So, yeah, this is the card that I made last night. But there's quite a lot of waste going on with this card. Thank you, Janice. I thought it was like one of the Karens and then didn't want to get it wrong. So Karen Mackley, who is fabulous, made this amazing inspiration station. And if I can find the photos that I took, I will share them over on my Instagram or possibly on Facebook or probably both. So yeah, this card I love, but it was quite wasteful because this stamp and die set are really clever. So let me show you. Where's all my stamps gone? You get this fabulous big stamp, which is beautiful. And if I stamp it when I have a piece of scrap paper, you'd think I'd be organised this evening. No, not at all. You stamp it just really simply with Memento, because that's all I've done. And I'll pop that straight down on there. And while I have my Memento out, I'm going to stamp a couple of extra flowers as well, just because I'm doing all my stamping at once. So I'll stamp 3 of those. Hopefully they're not too close together. But the die set has a couple of dies that work with this stamp. So we have this one, which is the one that you would expect, which cuts out that whole shape and is beautiful. But then we've also got this one. Now this die is really clever. Can you see there's lines across the middle? So when I run this one through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss, which I shall do for you because I got my mini cut and emboss this week. I was so excited when this arrived in my craft room. I have been tempted by this machine for a little while, and I succumbed to the temptation about a fortnight ago. And it finally arrived this week. I do think there are some shipping delays actually at the moment worth mentioning. UPS have got some issue once things get into the country, which is different. So, quick top tip on this machine: make sure that you've got one plate hanging over the other, because otherwise it doesn't run. Which I have found. Ask me how I know. So, my machine is also really stiff. And I think it's just because it's new. So we're going to run that through. So when you take this one out, I think this is so clever. Instead of it being like one solid piece, you get two of the leaves, one of the floral section, and then the bit in the middle. So the bit in the middle is what I've used on this card at the back. It's the bottom layer. And then I've added, because there are extras in the stamp set, so the extra acorns and the leaves to create our wreath. So with the card that I'm going to make today, I am going to move all of those out of the way, use the bits that I didn't use. So the flower and those two leaves. Good evening, Joe. Lovely to see you. So while I've got my machine out, I am just going to grab some more of the dies that I haven't used yet. So this flower also has a, where my scissors gone? A die associated with it. So I just think it's really, really clever. But there is also another clever element of this die set, which I haven't actually used yet. I have an idea. And I'm going to try it out for the first time on video, which may go horribly, horribly wrong. Good evening, Alison. Lovely to see you. I hope that you are well. So, run this through. So we're going to be running through a few things through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss this evening. And hopefully not making a mess of it. Yeah, the reason that this is a totally unnecessary purchase, I will completely admit, because I have a big size, I have the full size Cut and Emboss, but when I'm filming, when I'm making videos, when I'm doing lives, I cannot get that machine in and out of shot. It's just too big and too bulky. And so I decided, for the benefit of you lot, who quite often end up watching nothing on the screen because I've taken it away to die cut it, that I would get a mini machine. That, and it is really handy just to sit on your desk. It's very cute, very portable. I am a convert. I apologise to anybody who I said, oh, I don't need that to, because I did. I was wrong. It's okay, you're allowed to be wrong, you can change your mind. So, I hope everybody's had a lovely weekend. I have been solo parenting this weekend, as my husband has been on 13-hour shifts, Friday, Saturday and Sunday. So we did Beamish Museum Tractor Festival yesterday, which George, who is nearly 2, absolutely loved. And then we've done baking today, and that's been absolutely it. Because they are still totally exhausted from yesterday, which is how I like it. They went to bed nice and early and gave me free time. So I would advise using washi tape or post-it note or something when die cutting with the mini machine, just because I've been using this machine for 2 days and the plates warp quite quickly. I'll turn them over and they'll warp back again, but it's just handy if you are using it, a fair amount, to turn them over, but put that bit of washi tape on to stop your things moving around. And my watch is telling me I've done 8,000 steps. I do love my Fitbit, but sometimes it does go off at like the wrong moment. So, the next bit of the card and the other clever die is this one. Now, when you look at this die first off, you're going to think, oh, well, it'll just die cut the bit out of that stamp because it is the same size and shape. It doesn't, but it does pair with the same die that cuts out. Does that make sense? So you could cut this out, like cut that one first and then cut that over the top and you'll have a separate piece. I am actually just going to run this one through the big machine because it's not going to fit through my little one, I don't think. No, it's about half a centimetre too wide. And I'm just going to run it straight through. So you're going to end up with a kind of like cutout of the background card, which does not make any sense. I know it doesn't make any sense, but it will make sense once I've done it. Quickly. Let's hope it's actually cut. No, it hasn't. This is the other problem I have with my big machine. Can you see it's just not cut in the middle at all? So it's fine, because all I'm going to do, I'll pop it back in, grab another piece of cardstock over the top as a shim, and run it through again. And hopefully it will work. It's because there's not even pressure. That's working now, I can feel that. There's not even pressure all the way across my machine, and it's not a fault of the machine particularly. It's just one of those things that's quite annoying when it does happen. And actually, it's still not cut quite in the middle, but hopefully we'll make it work. So, I need the other thing that I have succumbed to recently, and I'm going to blame Verity of Inky Butterfly for this, is the die brush. I absolutely love my Take a Pick. It's the best thing the best crafty tool I've ever bought. And then I needed the die brush to go with it. So you can see where that's not quite cut in the middle, but it's okay. We'll make it work. I'm sure that it's not going to ruin the effect of the card. We can cover it up. So let's get all these bits off my desk because they're going to drive me bonkers. There's a lot of bits that come out of this die that I've then just knocked and spread again. But never mind. So this particular Stampin' die set, by the way, is in the current mini catalogue, so December to January. But I'm hoping it'll carry on because it's autumn themed. I'm not totally sure. But can you see? So you're going to layer that over a coloured piece of cardstock, and you can see through it. Just think it's fabulous. So there's that bit, and then we've got all our die cut pieces. Now, I have already gone ahead and started to colour these in. I have a heap of blends on my desk this evening. I am really enjoying blends at the moment. And I have quite a colour combination. So, more dyes and more all sorts going on. So, I have got, for the leaves, I love this colour combo. This is inspired by Shelley Gardner, who is the founder of Stampin' Up, who shared this colour combination for leaves on the recent card making day class that they did, and it's old olive and mint macaron, which you're going to go, what? That's a weird combination. But look, it is so pretty. So that one's light old olive and light mint macaron, and then that one is dark old olive, dark mint macaron, and then some light on the ends. Just absolutely love it. Then I have got sweet sorbet for the berries. And then the flowers are a variation. So when we were crafting last weekend, I made this card. And the colour combination on these flowers is not old at all, Orchid Oasis and Pool Party, because that's what I had to hand. But actually, it doesn't, I mean, it's sort of blended, but not particularly well. I've pulled out, when I got home, my Tahitian Tide pens, which is what this is, and I think it's blended much better. Similar effect, but blended much better. And then I have Daffodil Delight for the centres. So we are going to get colouring. We've got quite a bit left to colour. I think quite a lot to colour this evening. So I would make a start before I got on video. So let's do these two leaf pieces first. So I'm going to do one with the light combination and one with the dark. So let's do, this one with the light combo. So put the the light old olive down first, just on the kind of base of the leaves. And I'm not doing anything really fancy. I'm literally just scribbling the colour on. And then taking the light mint macaron, and I'm using the bullet tips for this today, just because I fancied it. Sometimes I use the brush, sometimes I use the firmer tip. And I take the colour from the base of the leaf again, all the way up, all the way. So you're kind of blending out and softening that old olive colour a little bit, but taking it all the way to the top of the leaf. So pretty. There we go. Hello, Sam. Lovely to see you as well. Haven't seen you for ages. So then the other one, I'm going to take dark old olive, again with that firm tip. And we're going to just put a little bit of dark on the base of the leaf. Like that. Just like a little bit. Doesn't need to be much. And then the dark mint macaron over the top. I'm probably about halfway up the leaf. So we're not going massively far. Just a little way past the end of that old olive. So you are blending it out a little bit. And then the light mint macaron, not light old olive. That would make a really messy leaf colour, wouldn't it? And we're going to take it all the way up, like start from the base of the leaf again and take it all the way up. And that way you blend all three colours together. Because if you just started at kind of where the dark mint macaron start or ends, it wouldn't blend. So you're going to start at the base and work your way up and cover that whole leaf in colour. The way that blends work is that you need to saturate the cardstock, and that saturation kind of helps the ink move around and makes it blend together. I love this colour combination. It's just so pretty, and not a colour combination I would ever have thought of, ever. But it's very clever. So again, just scribbling that colour on, because you do most of the work with the second pen. So once you've got that first layer of colour on, the second pen is going to come in and blend that together. So even if you've left kind of white gaps, it doesn't matter, because you're going to come in again with the second pen anyway. So just straight over. And you can see it doesn't take a massive amount of time to colour these images either, because they're quite simple. So last bit, I'm going to do these three with the dark combination. So slightly more, because we've got three colours to blend. So dark old olive. Just like that. Dark mint macaron. Going over that old olive and then a little bit past it. And you can see that's already blended. You've not got that harsh line of, there's a colour underneath that. It does blend actually really well together. Particularly when you're blending kind of dark and light, or light and light colours. When they're different colours, if that makes sense. If you're blending like dark mint macaron and dark old olive blend really nicely, I wouldn't try and blend dark old olive and light mint macaron. I don't think that'd work quite as well. But because I've then put the dark mint as well, it does still blend. There's that. all the leaves done. Shall we do the berries next, and we'll finish off with the flowers? So we've got 3 die cuts with berries on. I'm going to use sweet sorbet for this. So, a bit of dark sweet sorbet, and I'm just going to put the dark as like a little mark at the base of each berry, because we want to create a kind of shadow. These 2 pens, I've got to say, the sweet sorbet light and dark, are probably the closest pair of colours. So it's not totally obvious that you've got another colour underneath. But it does just add something. It's not a massively different colour. Oh goodness, doesn't matter. I've now got a red leaf, but that's fine. There we go, all the berries done. So these flowers, no, they are finished. These flowers, I have no idea about flowers. Flowers are not a natural thing to me, at all. But I like the colour combination, so I'm going with it. Whether it's available in nature or not, I don't care. There we go. So I've got the light Orchid Oasis, and you sort of need to do this 1 flower at a time. And I'm just going to go round, because you do need to kind of blend these while they're still a little bit wet. So dark Tahitian Tide, again, over that Orchid Oasis colour. And like I've just said, I wouldn't normally try and colour or blend 2 different colours at the same time. But I've got light of one and dark of the other. And it still works. And then we're going to go over the top of the whole thing with light Tahitian Tide. So I don't think this, for all this is the Fond of Autumn stamp set, I don't think this is a particularly autumnal card. For all we've got some berries on it, I suppose. I suppose, I don't know what time of year this would be really. But I go for pretty colours rather than true to life, if that makes sense. So the other thing about these pens, actually, it's really nice. The lids stack, so you're not going to lose the lid. You are going to lose your marbles, because that's the front of my card base. So I'm going to have to do that again in a minute. Drop a pen on your work surface. It's typical, isn't it? Absolutely typical. That's what you get, though. When you come and watch me live or on the replay, you are seeing exactly what happens when I craft. Usually I make a horrendous mess. More than anything else. So we're going straight over that with the dark Tahitian Tide, and then over that again with a light pen. I'm going to have to cut that cardstock again as well, actually, because I've not got that spare. It's typical, isn't it? So, just around. Do find blends very therapeutic. It's just something really, really very relaxing, isn't there, about a bit of colouring in. Is that jiggling my camera a little bit too much? Can't tell. Do let me know if that's wibbling things around a little bit. It's probably a little bit high up. Because of the camera mount I've got, the camera stand is slightly underneath my grid paper, so it might wobble. I'm still in, I'm calling this my temporary craft room. It's not very temporary. It's, I've been in here now for 4 years. I've probably got another 2 years before I get to move out. But it's feeling, I'm starting to call it my temporary craft room because I have a plan. I have a plan and a goal to get a proper, my actual craft room where my children can't find me. In my she shed in the garden. Yeah, I just need to save up and do it now. So yeah, this is my temporary craft room while I wait for my proper final craft room that's going to be amazing. I have just had a text message. I forgot to put my phone on airplane mode, no do not disturb, which I normally try and do for videos. I've just had one of those texts. I've started to get this past week. I've had more scam texts and phone calls than I've ever had, I think, in my life. The one I've just had through there was the one about, don't forget to sign up for the energy saving scheme. It's like, no, you don't need to sign. If you've had that text message, please ignore it, because you do not need to sign up for the energy saving scheme. If you're eligible for the money, you just automatically get it. It's just, these people really worries me. You know, I know that the people will click on that link. Please don't click on links in text messages, because you just don't know who they're from. Right, so there's a bit of daffodil light in the middle, and I did a ring of dark around the edge, and I'm just blending it towards the middle with the lighter pen. And that is all of the colouring. Now then, shall we make this bit again? Goodness me. Right, try and do it properly this time. So I need to grab a piece of, oh, I think that's thick. Yeah, I think that's thick. I don't want thick basic white, I want standard basic white. Oh no, that is thick. That is thick basic white. Oh, I've got a pile of cardstock that I still haven't put away from last weekend. I just keep dipping into. So, all of my card fronts are exactly the same size. If you've not watched one of my videos before, they are 10 centimetres, because I am in the UK and therefore work on A4. So 10 by 14.3, because my card base measurement is half a centimetre longer and wider than that. So my card base itself is 10.5 by 15.8. So that fits on there. Now then, let's try this again. Goodness me. So we're going to put that on there. Then I'm going to grab my big machine plates, because it won't fit through my little machine. I'm going to pop a shim of cardstock over the top. And then I'm going to run this through my machine. So I'm sorry that I'm not on camera for this, but hopefully I might have managed to get it to cut properly this time. So I'm going to run it through, let's go 4 times. Let's see if it's worked. The things you have to do sometimes. So, hey, that's going to look better. See, it was meant to be after all of that. So I'm going to bring back in my die brush just to get all those pieces. This is so much easier than standing there and individually poking everything out. Yeah, why, you know, when you go, why did I not do this before? It's brilliant. So there are still going to be some pieces that are stuck in, but that's absolutely fine. It's cut much better than it did the first time, which is great. So I've now got to get rid of all these bits again. Oh, I'm going to have to run the hoover around, I think. Not tonight though, because the kids are asleep and I am not waking the beast. So, we have got that layer over the top of that piece of sweet sorbet cardstock that just looks so pretty. So let's stick that down first. So Stampin' Seal on each corner and then straight over. And it is going to bend a little bit in the middle, but that's absolutely fine. We're going to stick things on it, it'll be okay. So then we've got all of our die cut pieces. So I'm going to start with the two bigger ones and do those there. And I'm going to pop those on flat. So I want some more seal. One there. And we're sort of making a circle. Sort of. It's probably not going to be perfectly round. But that's also okay. Then I'm going to take each one of these and I'm going to pop a dimensional on the back. And because they are fairly sizable, I can do big dimensionals or standard size dimensionals on the flowers. I think, yeah, I can on at least a couple. I prefer to use the big sized Stampin' dimensionals. I don't know about you. I just feel like they're less likely to fall off because there's that bigger sort of surface area. So let's do the leaves first. And don't forget, you've got two different kinds of leaves. They are slightly different. So I'm going to do one there and then one up that way and then the opposite way around. So that bigger one down and that little one will come across. So we've got that kind of circle of die cuts. And then we're going to pop our flowers on as well. So we could if we pop a flower there, it's going to cover up the kind of ends of your die cuts, which is quite pretty. And then I'm going to pop this one up here. I'm going to tuck it in underneath. There we go. And then what I have also gone ahead and done already is I have stamped the thank you sentiment, which is in the stamp set, but obviously not immediately obvious. I think most people are kind of drawn to the banner image, which these two stamps both sit into. But then there are a couple of others that are a little bit separate. And then I have taken, I can't get enough of these dies. These are the Stylish Shapes dies. I know everybody else had them for ages. They're new in my craft room. I can't put them down. And this banner image. And I'm going to die cut it like that. So it's going to be off the edge. Grab my piece of washi tape. This is the same piece of washi tape I've used again and again and again, by the way. Frugal, always going to use the same piece. It's going to pop that through that mini machine. I've got my mini out again. Two die cutting machines in one video. It's a bit excessive, isn't it? It's fine. So there we've got that. And so for a card that's basically using up the leftovers of another card, I'm very pleased with this one. So, and then this is going to sit kind of there. So it's going to come in off the edge, hence why I've not wanted it kind of in a hole. Oh, should I bring it back a little bit? I am going to chop a little bit more off. But let's stick it down first. And then we can trim it. So That's probably not going to sit flat. There we go. So, more careful placement of your dimensionals is sometimes useful. But I'm on video and I feel time pressured. So, there. And I'm going to flip that over and just trim that side off. Yeah. Suddenly thought I'd made a card upside down then. Wouldn't be the first time, won't be the last either, but never mind, I haven't. So that is my 2 cards using the Fond of Autumn stamp set. Thank you ever so much for joining me. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. I apologise for the fact that it's been a bit of a disaster, but we've made a card in the end. We got there, didn't we? So if you would like the Fond of Autumn stamp set, it is available currently in my online store. The link to the store is down below if you're on YouTube, or up here if you are on Facebook. Thank you ever so much for joining me. Don't forget, we have got the Code Club code for this month. It's also available on my blog. And there is a joining offer as well, which I meant to mention at the beginning of the video and got distracted. So if you want any more information about the current joining offer, just let me know. I will be putting a post up about it this week. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you again really soon. Bye for now.